disappointed Mir dropping down into third position. It could so easily have been the victory. So it's good afternoon from Drive. You've been following all of the World Championship coverage so far this afternoon. You will know that there was rain in the Moto 3 World Championship qualifying session. Won't give too much away, but it was a rather dramatic affair, certainly early on, for that reason. But here then is the man, I say man, he's still, boy, isn't he, 15 years of age. Aaron Canet starts on pole position for the very first time. Now he's riding with the Junior Estrella Galicia team that carried Quartararo to the title last year and the year before. Canet then just 15 years of age, starting right up there. And he did finish on the podium. He was second in Portimao 2 weeks ago. So it's Canet heading up the grid. Right behind him, you'll have Nicolo Belega. Now, Belega, here he is the only rider to have qualified on the front row for both of the Moto 3 Junior World Championship races so far this season. Could have been a different story, as we've already said. There's that number 3 down the right-hand side of your screen. Could so easily have been a 1. But Belega comes into this one still looking strong. He is third in the championship. Just to remind you, championship point situation exactly the same as it is in the MotoGP World Championships. 25 points for the win, 20 for second, 16 for third, and so on, down to that 1 solitary point for 15th position. So Belega certainly with good reason to be happy here, not least because Joan Mir, championship leader. What drama. He's way down the grid, starting no less than 27th place on this 30-rider grid. So Joan Mir with the Leopard racing bike is way, way, way down the order, and it really is a damage limitation exercise. As was the case at Portimao, just the one race for the Moto 3 Junior World Championship this weekend. So we've seen the front two. It's Canet from Belega. Then it's this man, David Sanchez, the Spaniard on Mahindra. 16 years of age. It's always interesting to look at the ages of the riders generally in this field. He'll line up then in third position on the number 10. Right, 16 then from Alfira. That's where the Aspar team's based, just outside Valencia. He was actually riding a KTM last year, finished 14th in the Cuna de Campeones, as it's known, the Champions Crib. That's a little series that runs over in Spain. Rather blustery conditions here. We've had some spits of rain in the last few minutes, but nothing too dramatic. We certainly hope it will remain dry. We'll keep on top of the situation though. If we do have spits of rain, we'll have to then be looking not to 2/3 distance, but 50% race distance for the CEB. This then is the number 48, Lorenzo Dalla Porta, which is one of the Italians in the field, 17 years of age. He's starting quite high up in this one then, as you can see there, 4th on the grid for the Italian, and heading up that second row of the 10 rows here at Le Mans. Moving further back, this is Jaume Masia, one of the younger riders in the field. He is just 14 years of age, the youngest rider actually, just for the sake of a few months from Valencia as well. His dad used to race himself actually, brought Jaume a bike at 5 years of age. They really do start them young, don't they, these days? And himself was only 9 years ago. He was then at Le Mans. Big pressure though here this weekend. As I said at the top of the programme, this really is the big one. They're racing in front of all of the MotoGP riders, team bosses, and this rather big crowd as well here at Le Mans, who has not been put off by the earlier rain. Moving further back on that second row, this is Bo Bensneider. Very strong start to the season 3 weeks ago in Portugal. 4th in the championship, 4th obviously in that race as well, with the championship standing clear in the race one results for the time being. They've had a lot of testing actually, racing with the Dutch Academy. They've been out testing since the last race at Assen. He was obviously very strong as well in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup, won both races there at Jerez and leads that championship quite convincingly at the moment. That was 2 weeks ago. So a lot going on for Bensneider. There was a test here at Le Mans as well prior to this CEV meeting, but once again, as was the case with the Portimao test, weather wasn't very good at all, so it really is hindering the riders who have these great opportunities with testing going on before the races, but then again, pretty much being rained off. Albert Arenas, you may know the name from the World Championship. He's done a few wildcard appearances over the last few seasons. One of the older riders at the, the ripe old age of 18, the Spaniard on the number 11 bike, starting on that third row. So it's Canet, Belega, Sanchez, 1, 2, 3, then Dalla Porta, Masia, and Bensneider in the top two as we continue to make our way further down the grid. Here's a man who really has been out of luck in his Moto3 career in the CV so far. Tony Arbolino, he is backed by the father of Marco Simoncelli, Paolo Simoncelli. The dream is to bring this team up into the World Championship over the next few years, and it all starts here in the CEV. But Arbolino, very unlucky. Valencia last season, the bike didn't get away at the end of the season when he made his debut, actually, in the CEV, and went off on the very last lap of the race in Portugal 3 weeks ago. Had he not done that, he would have been on for some very, very strong points. So here we're looking to make amends for that from 8th on the grid. And here we have Simon Danilo, brother Jewel, of course, racing this weekend in the World Championship. Simon really was the one who was always tipped as the quickest of the two. Really, really nasty accident, though, at Brno in the Red Bull Rookies 3 years ago now. Missed the whole of the 2013 season as a result of that. So really was put very much on the back foot. But best qualifying for him so far to line up 9th on the grid here in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Just to bring you up to speed then with the whole situation, the CEV used to be the National Series of Spain. It's more the European Championship now, and this is the first time we've seen it labelled as the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Gregory Haynes with you, and joining us in the commentary box for this one is Matt Burtz from the MotoGP.com World Feed coverage. Now, Matt, you've spent 2 decades in the paddock with Motorcycle News. Now, of course, with Dorna as well in the World Feed, you've commentated on a lot of action already this year. But I think with the likes of Quartararo in particular doing so well, it's just stressed how important the CEV is now.
Yeah, absolutely remarkable championship, Greg. As you say, you only have to look at the last 3 winners in the CEV Repsol Moto3 Series as it was before rebranded this year the Junior World Championship. Alex Marquez, the champion in 2012, went on to win the World Moto3 Championship. And now Fabio Quartararo, of course, a double winner in 2013 and 2014. Successive pole positions already in his Grand Prix career for Quartararo. So it is a fantastic stepping stone and a great shot window for all these young riders here. As you said earlier on, they're racing in front of a really big French crowd, but more importantly, they're racing in front of the World Championship paddock. It's a real great shot window. As we know, there are so many of the teams racing in this Junior World Championship that have set up teams as a kind of a feeder into the World Series, the likes of Estrella Galicia, IO Motorsport, Aspar Team Mahindra, Leglise Academy. They've all got the Ongetta Junior team. They've all got teams in this championship, but they've also got teams in the World Championship. So it's just great to see that teams and the organisers really working to develop young talent, not just from Spain, but all around the world. Proof there, as we can see, Kaita Toba, the 15-year-old Japanese rider, picked up 1 point at the opening round of the championship in Portimao in Portugal.
He was very pleased with that, actually. Toba, the reigning champion, of course, from the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Great to see the crossover, isn't it, now, between the Series, Red Bull Rookies, Asia Talent Cup, CEV Moto3 here as well. And as you say, yeah, came through for that point on what was a really difficult weekend, actually, for Toba in Portimao. Had several incidents across the days of practice and also the test leading up to the event. Watch out there for Toba. It's man of the sea, apparently, is what Kaito means. Hopefully, we won't be having any rain today, but if it does, I suppose he's got the right name for that sort of situation. This is Davide Pizzoli then, the Italian rider. He starts 13th. Now, I was on the pit wall for the start of this particular race last year, and he was involved in a really horrible accident. Pizzoli failed to get away off the line, and then Makar Yurchenko, the rider from Kazakhstan, if you remember, he was riding for Aleix Espargaro's team at the moment, was unsighted, hit the back of Pizzoli. It was a horrible scene to witness, Matt, but thankfully escaped with no more than 2 broken arms. But it just stresses how quickly they're already going by the time they get from the back of the grid to the starting line.
Confirmation then of the starting grid. Aaron Canet in pole position ahead of Nicolo Belega, the Italian, running the number 46. The front row completed by David Sanchez. Row 2, Lorenzo Dalla Porta, Jama Masia, and Bo Benschneider, the Dutch rider. Row 3, Arenas Arbolino, and the big French hope, Simon Danilo.
Watch out then for Danilo up there on row 2. Then we've got Powie. He went very well actually at Portimao on top of the warm-up. Senna Yamada, yes, it is named after Ayrton Senna. His dad was a big fan of the Formula 1, 3-time world champion. Toba we've already seen, Pizzoli as well, Petrarca and Valtellini. So 3 Italians making up that 5th row. Palanco below the Frenchman, and Perez 18th. Now Perez was actually disqualified from the first race for missing a ride-through penalty, so hopefully avoiding that. Yuta Date, he led most of the Asian Talent Cup last season, lost out in the Sepang finale to Toba, who we've already seen, so they'll be coming through from 21st in Date's case. It is a 30-rider field, down to Belver there at the back. Now, obviously, you've been commentating this afternoon for the World Championship, Matt. I know you just popped outside. What's the weather like? It's still quite breezy, isn't it?
Thankfully, it's dry, though, Greg, because we've seen some pretty big weather disruption, haven't we, this afternoon? Certainly in the Moto 3 qualifying session, a little bit of disruption in the final practice session for Moto GP, but it is dry at the moment. Great to see there as we look at the front row of the grid. Really big crowd has stayed behind to watch these young riders take this to the start of this 17-lap race. But yeah, there are still some pretty grey and gloomy, threatening clouds looming overhead of this Bugatti circuit. But fingers crossed that we do get a full dry race. Run, of course, over 17 laps, the second round of this Junior World Championship. There is one of the great big Italian hopes, a bit of a giveaway, the long flowing locks of the number 46 there in the middle of your screen, Nicolo Balega, one of the many hot young talents coming out of the VR46 Academy in Italy.
Well, something interesting you were explaining to me yesterday afternoon in the, well, no, it was this morning, wasn't it, in the media centre. The number 46 is carrying. That wasn't actually the plan, was it, to carry number 46 originally?
Yeah, I was intrigued to find out why he was allowed to run number 46, because we know Valentino, he's pretty protective of that number 46, and it was basically because Albert Arenas already has the number 11. That is Balega's normal race number, so he had to seek special permission from the boss. He contacted Valentino and said, do you mind, boss, if I run that number 46? And Valentino said, no, go ahead. So, yeah, number 46. At least it makes him fairly easy to spot. He's even the same sort of designed 46, isn't it, that Balega runs. Really interested to see him race here this weekend. Of course, second on the grid, third time last time out in Portugal.
The Bugatti circuit we're on there, they're just rounding the right-hander of La Chapelle down the bottom of the hill after the Dunlop Bridge. Then it's into the left-hander here at Musée, the museum corner. We've seen quite a lot of drama already here in the World Championship running without giving too much away, but watch back the final Moto 3 World Championship practice session, FP3 from earlier on, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's up to Garage there here, this sort of double right-hander, which is officially classified as turn 8, and then it's onto the back straight, which is 2/3 of a kilometre. There's the championship situation, and as we've already said, very much mirroring the results of round 1 in Portimao 3 weeks back. Mir from Canet and Balega, but Mir, let's just quickly talk about Joan Mir. He's way down the grid, 27th on the grid out of 30 riders. Had an early fall in the first practice session yesterday, which also happened to be the first qualifying session. They don't get much running here with the tight Grand Prix schedule this weekend. They just could not get it together in the second session in the afternoon. There he is at the top of the screen, number 36 with the sky blue livery there, the Leopard Racing livery. You may recognise it, of course. Danny Kent running the same livery in the World Championship this year. But this, got to talk about damage limitation.
3.9 seconds behind pole position. Not the sort of form that we thought we'd be seeing from the race one winner. Aaron Canet starts on pole with a 1:44.204, and way back was Joan Mir, race winner, as we said, in Portimao, the championship leader coming into this second round here in Le Mans, but a 1:48.138 from Mir. As you say, Greg, work to do and possibly damage limitation, so from so far back on the 9th row of the grid.
Yeah, not least, of course, with the likes of Canet and Balega, who finished second and third in Portimao, first and second on the grid here. There is Canet with the number 5, Balega with the number 46. There is the 44 just getting into position. Canet is 44, of course, coming from the back. He's then going to leave them all waiting. Look, he's creeping up the outside of the grid, and he'll pull into pole position. He's very first CEV Moto 3 Junior World Championship pole. This is that moment of tension, isn't it? This is where we saw the horrible incident last year. Let's just cross our fingers and hope they all get down to turns 1 and 2 safely. It's a very quick right-hander here at Le Mans, followed by the Dunlop chicane. So there is your grid. It's Canet, Balega, Sanchez across the front row. Then you've got Dalla Porta, Masia and Ben Snyder, 4, 5, 6. Moto 3 Junior World Championship continues at Le Mans, and it continues right now. Great start from Canet off the front of the grid. Sanchez is away very well indeed already, ahead of Balega as they move up to turn 1 for the first time. Are they going to get through cleanly? It's Jaume Masia with the blue bike on the inside line. Balega almost swallowed up there as they get down to the Dunlop chicane for the first time. They'll flick it left and flick it right. Great start there from the pole.
Oh, huge crash. Well, we've got numerous riders down at the Dunlop chicane. Balega, certainly one of them. That's him lying on the tarmac, the number 46 on the right-hand side of your screen. It's Aaron Canet who leads the way from pole position, the number 44. But there was a big moment right behind the lead group, and it took out Balega, certainly, and at least 2 or 3 other riders.
Yeah, that was really, really unfortunate, wasn't it? Let's just hope everybody's okay. We're keeping our eyes closely on the top of the screen and on the timing screen here in the commentary box to see if the red flag is out. At the moment, though, we're still racing. There's Vanhaeren, the championship leader, on the second of these two sky blue bikes. He's trying to fight through. Now we do have a red flag here. No surprise at all, of course, after all of that drama up at the Dunlop chicane. Well, my goodness, let's just hope everybody's all right. That was a frightening incident to see, wasn't it? Somebody certainly lost control. I don't know whether a front brake lever was touched, but somebody went flying into the air. And as you say, man, it was just a real chain reaction, a knock-on effect, which knocked off several riders into the runoff area there.
Yeah, it was a good clean getaway off the line and the run up to the first corner, but it was when the field really concertinaed up coming into that tight turns 3 and 4. There in the background is number 46, Nicolas Belega, who started from second on the grid. He is up and okay. There you can clearly see the red flag is out after that nasty looking incident on the very first lap of this 17-lap Junior World Championship race here in Le Mans.
So for the second year in a row then, the Moto3 CV race is stopped here at Le Mans on the first lap. It almost looks as though they're still racing, but they'll see the red flags flying. The red lights will be shining brightly on the starting gantry. Mike Webb, race director for MotoGP, did start the race. They're still almost 5. This is unbelievable, Matt. What is going on? Marshall's now looking...
The red flag has clearly been waved, and these riders, well, they're coming up. You can clearly see the medical car there is sitting in the middle of the track. This is where the incident took place on the opening lap. One rider still down there undergoing treatment from the medical staff. The field now are slowing down as they come through La Chapelle. They have finally seen those red flags that have been waving for quite some time. The red flags went out very early after that dramatic collision between numerous riders at turns 3 and 4, and now thankfully the field are slowing down. It was a Connect that was leading the way, the number 44 from pole position. We did see at least Nicolas Belega caught up in that first corner tangle. He was able to get back on his VR46 Team KTM. He'll probably be home to ride that back to the pits. And as we say, we did get a very early stoppage. We're going to get a replay here on the inside.
Oh, Tony Arbolino, that was. Tony Arbolino triggered it. I don't know whether there was a secondary incident behind them, Matt. And riders and bikes just scattered across the Dunlop chicane runoff area. I have to say, though, I cannot believe that they managed to do a whole half lap with red flags flying, and seemingly nobody noticed the red flag was out. That was a miracle of miracles that nobody was injured in that kerfuffle that went on well, it wasn't even lap 2, was it? The race was red flag, but the second time they came up to the Dunlop chicane. But it was certainly Tony Arbolino, the number 4, who went flying into the air immediately. He started where was he on the grid, actually, Arbolino? Let's just go down. He was 8th on the grid, wasn't he, in the middle of row 3, so horrible situation going on up there.
Yeah, it looked like Arbolino. He got a fairly good getaway from the middle of that third row in 8th, and then he just got it all wrong in the braking zone for the third corner, the start of that Dunlop chicane. It's off camber going in there, but as you can see, he was in way too hot on the inside. Whether he had some kind of mechanical issue, not too sure, but he was fired out of the seat of his KTM bike on that 658 Squadra Corsa KTM, and I would imagine the way that he flew through the air and went into the gravel, it is Arbolino that is undergoing treatment in the gravel trap as we saw the red flags come out.
Yes, it may well be. I've been looking to see whether he's come back in. I certainly haven't seen him coming back in. No official confirmation as yet, by the way, on the timing screens here as to who it is being attended to. In fact, we're still waiting for the official list of who actually was taken down there. Some of them, I imagine, probably did rejoin and cruised back round to the pit lane. So, red flag on the first lap here for the Moto3 Junior World Championship, round 2 of the season at Le Mans. Just to run you through now what happens in this situation for Junior Moto3. The official line is, it's Article 1.25.2 of the regulations. If the red flag is shown when the leader of the race has not completed 3 laps, then the race will be null and void and a new race will be run. The number of laps will be 2/3 the original race distance, rounded up to the nearest whole number of laps. So that's the situation. We'll keep you updated on what happens with that one, but it looks very likely as though we're going to have for the second year in a row a 9-lap distance here at Le Mans, but we'll await official confirmation on that one. Well, what an energetic start to the race that was. I just cannot believe that, man. I'm trying to think of a rationale as to why seemingly nobody saw the red flag. I'm stunned by that one, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of share that view as well, Greg. Quite amazing, really, that the entire field didn't acknowledge the red flag. There is the trio of Estrella Galicia Honda riders now back in the pits awaiting the restart of this Moto3 Junior World Championship race. It was Kane, the number 44, starting from pole position, who made a great start from pole, and he led all the way up to the first corner, ensured that he was caught out of any of that early drama. He's just having a chat there with Fabio Quartararo, of course, who will have a big interest in this race. Dominated this championship when it was the CEV Repsol Series for the last 2 years. Fabio Quartararo, 9 wins in 11 races last year, including, of course, here on home soil in front of a massive crowd in Le Mans 12 months ago. Well, here we go. This is a notification from Race Direction. The race red flagged, as we saw earlier, due to that incident which started on the run up to that second corner. And one rider that was involved still undergoing treatment in the gravel trap. The ambulance has been quick to arrive, so hopefully the rider will be taken to the medical centre imminently. Well, here we go. There's Kane on the outside. There's number 4, Arbolino. He gets it on the inside, loses the rear.
Well, what a scene of complete drama and chaos going on. There's the rear-facing angle looking up from turn 2 to turn 3. Wow, look at that. Was that one of the...
Mia?
It may well have been Mia. Certainly one of the Leopard riders in big trouble. Look at Arbolino flying through the air. Where does he end up? In the gravel trap. You have to imagine it is Arbolino they're attending to. I never like to guess in a situation like this, but just to stress, we have not had any official confirmation as yet on the timing screens here or on the television screens, as we can see, as to who that is. But certainly Arbolino did go rolling off in that direction. Here's the scene back in the pit lane in the meantime. Obviously an opportunity to make a few changes. This is Powie, in the meantime, the 16-year-old Malaysian rider. He was pretty strong in qualifying, started 10th on the grid, so a third of the way down the grid yesterday on the Honda, and we have now, as Matt points out quite right in the commentary box, a new lap distance of 9 laps, so it is exactly the same situation as a year ago. Obviously, the exact time as to when the race will be restarted will be confirmed. We'll let you know whenever that is, but first, obviously, the concern is the situation going on up at the Dunlop chicane.
Yeah, Kyril Idham Powie, part of that Honda Team Asia setup. Of course, that's run by, World Championship level, won by Tadayuki Okada, the former factory Repsol Honda rider. Now with Taka Nakagami and Aslan Shah in the Moto2 World Championship, giving talent from the Asian region the chance to shine not only on the world stage, but also in this Junior World Championship. So as Greg confirmed, a new race distance here in Le Mans. The original race distance was 17 laps. The race will be restarted over a shortened distance of 9 laps.
And who knows what might happen over those 9 laps. Let's hope the weather stays all right, because that's been a big question already, hasn't it, today with what happened earlier on. This is Cristiano Carpi in the meantime, the 18-year-old Italian from Reggio Emilia. He was right in the heart of the action, actually, there. Did well to get through because he started 25th on the grid, so he was one of the many riders coming through from the group at the back who somehow, really was a minor miracle, avoided the drama, because it could have been so much worse. I suppose the positive thing, if that's the right way to say it, Matt, is that most of the riders who were involved did end up back off in the runoff area and not across the track itself, because we have seen that happen before.
There is Nicolo Balega's KTM. It is back inside the pit lane now, so he was able to ride that bike back. I'm not sure, actually, there was so much going on in that incident, so many riders involved, it was hard to actually pick out who really was involved. We could clearly see Arbolino went down very heavily as he ran up the inside to that third corner. And I wasn't sure, actually, whether, looking at some of the replays with the Balega, he might have actually crashed on his own. It looked like he just lost the rear, getting on the gas as he accelerated in that short squirt between turn 3 and 4. But difficult to say. He was certainly one of the riders that was involved. And now frantic work by those junior team VR46 Riders Academy team to ensure that he can make this 9-lap restart.
Yeah, I think at least 2 of the Leglise Academy riders were involved as well as we watched the replays. I suspect that would have been Arenas and probably Lorenzo Dalla Porta, who were both up there, weren't they, in the front group, because their teammate Pizzoli was coming from further back. So you have to think Arenas and Dalla Porta were involved as well, certainly tagged, if not down on the ground. And as you've already said, they've coasted their way back to the pits. There is one of those bikes, actually, in the middle of the picture there with the JHK branding on the side of it. So it's a pause now. It's 20 to 5 local time. The race started at 4:30, obviously in a delay now with the red flag situation. Same procedure really now as MotoGP. You'll just wait for a signal to be given. The riders will be given a shorter time than usual to make their way back round to the starting grid. We'll line up again And then they'll start from the original grid positions, Canet on pole from Belega and Sanchez, but this time only in 9-lap duration.
I think you're absolutely right, Greg, judging by the work that's going on down in that Leglise Academy Husqvarna garage. Certainly one of their riders involved in that very dramatic, nasty-looking opening lap collision. Here we go again. Now you can see it is Arbolino on the inside, number 4. Belega there, just in the middle of your picture. And well, Belega did. He crashed on his own. You can clearly see on the left-hand side of the screen. But Arbolino's bike did definitely take out 2 other riders. Here we go. And it looks like it might be at least... Was it both of the Leglise Academy riders? It was. Here we go. Confirmation. Belega definitely involved. Dala, Arenas, Arbolino and Mia. Well, there's Joan Mir having a moment there off that Leopard Carme Honda.
That was a huge moment, wasn't it, for the championship leader? He did everything right to get through and avoid the drama, and then I think, I may well be wrong, but I think that was unassisted. A massive moment. Apologies to Joan Mir if he was tagged as a result of that one. Bit of a sneeze there for Nicolo Belega. It's a bit chilly here this afternoon, isn't it? I know a few people have been worrying about hay fever of late, but it really is the cold and the wind that's causing the worries here. Belega then second on the grid, don't forget, but as you've already pointed out, Matt, he was... well, he caused his own problem there, quite frankly, didn't he? He escaped all the other drama and then got it completely wrong by himself. And this really is a get-out-of-jail-free card for this man, Nicolo Belega.
Yeah, Lorenzo Dalla Porta, the number 48 on one of the Leglise Academy Husqvarnas, the Italian. He was caught up in that incident, as was his teammate, Albert Arenas. So there'll be frantic work going on down there in the Leglise team. Dalla Porta. He started from 4th on the grid, and Arenas was right behind him on the 3rd row in 7th. So they got away pretty well. Certainly Arenas got away well in 7th place. He'd already picked up a few places on that long run to this tight chicane. Arenas unfortunate to be taken out. It was Arbolino's bike that definitely took out Dalla Porta and Arenas. Belega, he just went down on his own, too aggressive on the throttle as he went to power up through the 4th corner. And we're going to get confirmation there on your screen's race direction. Well, it's the new race distance now. We thought it was going to be originally run over 9 laps. It's actually now going to be shortened by 5 laps. The original race distance was 17 laps, but we're going to get a restarted race run over 12 laps of this legendary Le Mans circuit. 2.6 miles, this Bugatti circuit. Time for these riders to regroup, regain some composure. As we saw, remarkable scenes, a nasty incident on the first lap involving 4-5 riders, and then the riders, inexplicably, you have to say, didn't initially acknowledge the red flag.
That was quite worrying, actually, I have to say. I think race director Carlos Requejo, who is the CV race director, I was just about to explain this earlier before all the drama. Mike Webb, MotoGP race director here, is starting the race just to keep everything in line with the Grand Prix weekend procedures, but then Carlos Requejo, who is the standard CV race director, takes over for the whole race. So, yeah, as you say, it was originally told 9 laps. Now they're signalling that at least 12 laps, so I think that would probably be, now that adds up more. My maths isn't fantastic, but that would now, I believe, be 2/3 of the original race distance, rounded up to the nearest whole number. There that is Fabio Quartararo, champion here in CV Moto3 for the last 2 years. It was very, very tight in 2013. Dominated proceedings last year, 9 wins out of 11 races. And as you know full well, Matt, from commentating on Moto3 World Championship this year, he's going quite well, isn't he? Particularly in qualifying. He's doing exceptionally well without giving too much away from what happened earlier on in the World Championship action here in Le Mans. It was a pretty good afternoon for Fabio Quartararo. Dramatic, but the outcome was a pretty happy one. We'll look forward to seeing Fabio in action in tomorrow's 24-lap Moto3 race. Of course, that will get underway tomorrow morning. Quartararo, actually, 11 wins in his CEV Repsol career before he graduated full-time to Moto3 with the Estrella Galicia team. Of course, big connections between Estrella Galicia now and Monlau Competition and Marc VDS. As a clear career path for these young riders, the likes of Aaron Canet, for example. You know, he can see that there's an Estrella Galicia team operating in Moto3. There's an Estrella Galicia back team operating in Moto2, and all the way up now, of course, with the likes of Scott Redding in MotoGP. So if you've got the talent and the skill, some of these young riders
3 or 4, 5, 6 years down the line, we could see them Australia Galicia back riders in MotoGP.
It's a heaven-sent opportunity, really, isn't it, for the riders these days? It's never easy, of course, to get to the top, but certainly I think it's fair to say it's a little bit easier than it has been traditionally over the last 20, 30 years or so. And this is the situation down in the L'Église garage. At least two of their 3 riders were affected in that first corner, or first chicane, I should say, incident there up at Dunlop. We've seen the ambulance removed from the scene, making its way down back in the wrong direction of the actual racetrack, down from Dunlop into the end of the pit lane. No actual notification as yet as to when this race may be restarted. We've already said, of course, it's a new distance of 12 laps now, and as soon as we get any notification, which I'm sure will be any time now, we will let you know. Where are we then? In France, where we're pretty much in the middle of it, aren't we? A little bit off to the left-hand side of the map, to the west of Paris. It's, what, 2.5-hour drive, 3-hour drive to Paris, depending on the traffic. And I think we've all experienced enough of that over the years coming here to Le Mans. Let's just see what this is from race direction. Here we go. Then this is the pit lane to open for the restart. So 16:53 local time. That is in just under 4 minutes from now. They'll make their way back round to the grid. Then they'll get away again on another warm-up lap, and then we'll have another start, and it'll be a 12-lap race distance this time. We can't really stress how lucky this man, Nicolo Belega, the number 46, who is third in the championship, was. Got it all wrong by himself amidst all the other drama and carnage going on up there at Dunlop. Because of the red flag, he's been able to come back in. Quite a long stoppage here of a good, well, nearly 20 minutes now. And they're able to repair the bike, of course.
Yeah, and it was the race winner last time out in Portimao, Joan Mir, that also had a problem up at that first section. He was, as we said earlier on, started way back down the field on the back of the 9th row of the grid in 27th place. So again, we look at the bike, the number 98 bike of Khairul Idham Pawi, the Malaysian rider.
Such an important region now, isn't it? Asia. We know Honda sells more motorcycles of one form or another over in Indonesia, and there is a lot of talk of a race being hosted in MotoGP in that region. We've seen Thailand already earlier this year with the World Superbike Championship. Very successful event indeed. Made more successful by the fact that 3 Thai riders won races over that weekend, both in the Asia Talent Cup and Rata Park Willerot, to set the place absolutely alight. I was there commentating on the World Supersport race. It was like a football stadium. It was a remarkable atmosphere. But yeah, so much support now for the Asian region, which obviously is only stressed by initiatives like the Asia Talent Cup, and Dorna and Alberto Puig overseeing the series, putting a lot of effort, lots of enthusiasm, and of course money, let's be quite frank, into that series. That's
number 33 there, Adam Noureddin, the Malaysian, one of 3 riders from the Asia Talent team. Of course, they race regularly in the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Yuta Date, Kaita Toba and Noureddin over to compete in this Junior World Championship. Great experience for them to get a taste of the cutthroat competition that goes underway in Europe. Great preparation for their possible World Championship careers. Well, it says Crazy Boy on the side of that helmet.
You'd be forgiven for thinking there's a few crazy boys in the field after what we've just seen down at turn 1, but let's just hope that everybody is all right there. We know one rider was taken away in the ambulance. We'll get official confirmation as soon as we possibly can on who that was, but nothing flashed up on the screens yet here in the commentary box. So we are now coming up to that 16:52 time, as to, it was 52, wasn't it, for when they get back out there? It's just 53, sorry, it's calling along the bottom of the screen. So they'll have 1 minute and then we will be back out there. It's going to be quite a frantic rush back out as well, isn't it? Because it's the 2-minute quick start procedure as it's known. So let's just hope they keep it calm this time, unlike when the red flags came out before.
Yeah, pit lane open in just under 1 minute's time. Race to be restarted over 12 laps. If you've just joined us, the original race distance was scheduled for 17 laps, but there was a fairly nasty looking multi-rider incident up at the Dunlop chicane involving the likes of Tony Arbolino. Nicolo Belega was involved in it, but in an incident on his own. Arbolino's bike, his KTM, as it slid across the track, taking out Lorenzo Dalla Porta and Albert Arenas. And Joan Mir also involved in a separate incident of his own. Belega and Mir, they were the victims of their own downfall. Unfortunately, Dalla Porta and Arenas unlucky to be caught up in the tangle from the big crash from the 14-year-old Italian Tony Arbolino.
So it is 16:53 local time here in France at the Circuit de l'Essard at Le Mans, and they make their way back out of the pit lane for a second reconnaissance lap of the afternoon. We're coming up then now to 5 o'clock in the evening here. It's getting a little bit darker. It's actually darker outside, I can tell you, than it is on the television pictures, which do a good job to brighten up the action as best as they possibly can. It's the quick start procedure. They've got 2 minutes to get out of the pit lane around to the grid. They'll form up in the original grid positions. As Matt has already said, it's down now from a 17 to a 12 lap distance, and it will be a brand new race. We don't have aggregate situations or anything like that going on because the race was stopped at the earliest possible point, really. There were only 3 corners into the lap. This is the run down to La Chapelle out of the Dunlop Bridge. The bottom of your screen is where the car racing track goes off. Of course, Le Mans famous for the 24-hour race. 1923 it started. Coming up again soon, just 4 weeks from now, and the 2015 Le Mans 24-hour will be underway. I'm imagining this will be quite an emotional, poignant one as well, because it's 60 years this year since that horrendous accident in 1955, one of the worst incidents we've ever seen in motorsport, when a car took off, ended up in the main grandstand, and a horrible incident there. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of tributes to that when the 2015 edition of the Le Mans 24 Hours comes up in a month from now. This is the Bugatti circuit then we're watching. Obviously Bugatti, a famed, very famous make of car here in France as well. They won the Le Mans 24 Hour twice, 1937 and 39, now known obviously under the Volkswagen banner for the Veyron more than anything else. We've seen it on a number of familiar car programs over the last few years, and they just make their way around. It's a nice layout here. Some people don't like this track, do they? I personally think it's quite a nice one. Yes, it is a bit stop-start, but it does have a nice flow to it, particularly the last sector.
It can be a little bit stop and go. If you're a good, aggressive hard braker, you'll certainly like this Le Mans circuit. Some real strong braking points, certainly into the first corner, down into parts like a Garage Vert at turn 8, into the Chemin-Aubert chicane at turn 9. So it's a difficult racetrack to get your setup right. You need a compromise, really. You want a really good, stable front end for all those hard braking sections, and of course you also need a good rear grip, because there's a lot of low gear acceleration points on this track where you want a stable rear grip.
There's Albert Arenas, second shot at this for Albert then. He starts 7th on the grid, so lining up row 3. As we've said already, he was one of the several riders to be taken down in the melee that went on up there at the Dunlop chicane. It was unbelievable. It wasn't any worse than it was, but certainly the most drama we've seen in terms of multiple collisions in the CEV for some time. If you're switching on for the first time, by the way, to the CEV, just to bring you up to speed with how this championship has evolved over the last few years. It started in its modern form as the Spanish National Championship back in 1998. It's always been split up into various categories over the last few years, of course. Superbikes, Moto 2 and Moto 3 here. But from this year onwards, Moto 3 has been relabeled as the Moto 3 Junior World Championship. Moto 2 and the Superbike classes as the European Championships. And of course, most of the venues are still in Spain because it used to be the Spanish Championship. But slowly but surely, we're progressing to other venues now in this more European format. So we've had Portimao in Portugal 3 weeks ago, now here at Le Mans for the second time. Just the Moto 3 class running here, by the way, at Le Mans. The rest will be back in action at Barcelona next time out. So we'll see the Superbikes and Moto 2 racing there as well. Championship point system exactly the same, as I said earlier, as MotoGP, so 25, 20, 16. And the qualifying, by the way, just in case you're wondering how that's decided, there's 2 sessions on the weekend. Friday here in this case, as this is a Saturday race. Only Saturday race of the season, so it's basically 2 qualifying sessions on the Friday here, and the best time from either of those sessions puts you through to decide your grid position. As it happened in the end, nobody's great surprise, all of the best times did come from the second session.
A quick look there at the pole setter, number 44, Aaron Canet. We'll have to do the hard work all over again because he made a brilliant start in the first race. There's a man who'll be thanking his lucky stars that he's even in this restarted race, Nicolas Bouligat, because he was one of 5 riders involved in that nasty incident up at the Dunlop chicane. As we said earlier on, his crash all of his own doing, but great work by those Junior Team VR46 Riders Academy mechanics to get him back out for this restarted race. Great work, you have to say, also by the Leglis Academy mechanics, getting Albert Arenas and Dalla Porta back out on track. Completing the front row, David Sanchez, the Spaniard, the lead Mahindra rider in this field.
And obviously, as the commentary team, we often get excited, don't we, bigging the fact up that they're racing on a Grand Prix weekend. But it's true, isn't it? They are racing in front of Grand Prix world champions and, perhaps more importantly, potential sponsors and team owners. They really are in the spotlight this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, they are indeed. There is Dalla Porta, fourth on the grid, caught up, as we said, in that first lap incident, which brought out the red flags. Tony Arbolino, one of the riders involved. We don't think he'll be making the restart. He was due to start on the middle of the third row of the grid. Dalla Porta, sixth in the opening round in Portimao a couple of weeks ago. The 17-year-old riding the Husqvarna, which is essentially, of course, basically a rebadged KTM bike.
Yeah, obviously, you'll know probably that Danny Kent rode a Husqvarna last year in the World Championship. Now, if we do have any notification as to anybody starting from the pit lane, we'll let you know. As far as we know from the information we are getting here, everybody has made it round. Those who are restarting the race, that is, have made it round to the starting grid. What about Joan Mir then? Good and bad, I suppose. He gets another shot at it, but he didn't have a bad start the first time. There was a huge moment at the Dunlop chicane, but he survived that one. He's just got to avoid any drama. And I think now as well, Matt, he'll be absolutely completely bearing in mind, mindful of the fact that there was so much drama first time round. He may have to be darting off across a runoff area somewhere.
That was the 14-year-old we just had a quick look at, the number 5, Jaume Macia, the Spaniard in the junior team of Estrella Galicia. He'll take some encouragement going into this race. He was quickest in this morning's warm-up session. Oh, I say it was a warm-up. It was very cold when the riders were out there this morning. He did set a best lap of 1:45.913. And we looked at Joan Mir briefly towards the back of the grid. Encouragement for him. We know he's starting way back down the field in 27th place, but improvements for him. He was 7th quickest in the earlier warm-up session.
Yeah, one of the things the CEV prides itself on is the amount of track time the riders get over a race weekend, and testing as well before every race. But it is completely true that on this Grand Prix weekend, it's a very, very tight schedule indeed. So for the second time today that's run through the grid, Canet is first of a pole from Belega and Sanchez. Dalla Porta, Macia, Ben Snyder, 6th on the grid. Arenas Arbolino, we do not believe is taking the start, but we'll see when we get a longer shot in a moment. Then it's Danilo there. That's Simon Danilo, the younger of the two brothers. Howie Yamada Toba, reigning Asia Talent Cup champion. Pizzoli, Petrarca, Valtellini, all Italian. Row 5 from Palanco below, the French rider and Perez. Then it's Norridin, Cresson, Darte, who led the Asia Talent Cup for so long last year. Aleix Bew looking for a finish this time, and there, 27th on the grid. Just behind Lawson Walters, the Australian, is Joan Mir, the number 36 Leopard Racing Honda. 27th on the grid after a crash in first qualifying. Couldn't really do anything about it in the second qualifying session, and so he's coming from almost the very, very back of the grid. You see Juan Belver there just completing the grid. That's the 16-year-old Spaniard. So here we go again then. It is just past 5 o'clock local time now, and there is the number 44, Aaron Canet. He really is in a great place, isn't he, with the Estrella Galicia junior team. Great first race of the season at Portimao. Couldn't keep up, could he, with Belega and Mir, but he was there when it mattered, and he picked up the pieces. When Belega made that mistake, he came right through. And also, I don't want to be too hard on Belega, Matt, but that's the second race in a row now that he's made an error, isn't it? Low-sided out at Portimao with 2 laps to go, and he's done the same thing on the first lap of the first start here. So let's hope this man can get it away cleanly this time.
Well, there's no doubt he's keen if he does keep crashing while he's well placed. It just shows how strong he was at the opening round in Portimao, because he did crash out very late on in the race, but was still able to remount and take the final place on the podium behind Canet and Joan Mir. So the field coming under orders. There is a MotoGP race director, Mike Webb. He's trying to get these riders underway in this shortened race. 12 laps coming up of the 2.6 mile Le Mans circuit. Still dry here. As we said, it's very grey and overcast outside our commentary position, but thankfully the rain that we saw earlier on disrupts some of the sessions in the French Grand Prix. Staying away so far.
There is the championship leader then, Joan Mir, way down, 27th on the grid here at Le Mans. We've said already this is a damage limitation exercise and a half. He's got through one start with a huge moment that he managed to thankfully escape, and he's got to do it all over again now. So it's a revised race distance. We've cut it down now from 17 to 12 laps, which is 2/3 of the original distance rounded up, and we are away on another warm-up lap of the Le Mans Bugatti circuit. As I've already said, it's not quite as bright as it looks on the television. It's a little bit cool and chilly out there, and quite a breeze as well. Some of the riders actually were struggling quite badly with the crosswinds at Portimao at round 1 3 weeks ago, as we just watched Mir making his way through. Don't forget, they do not need to retain grid order on the warm-up lap. They can do whatever they like, really, but they do need to bear in mind they need to form up in the correct positions on the grid when they come round. I know that might sound obvious, but we did have an error from Perez last time out. He formed up in the wrong grid position, was given a ride-through, didn't see the notification, and was then disqualified for ignoring the ride-through. So you will not get away with lining up in the wrong grid position.
They need to pick up the pace a little bit on this warm-up lap as well.
Yeah, they do. I mean, look at that now. As you say, the back of the pack is only just coming under the Dunlop Bridge, and up at the front there, we've got the number 98. That's Powie, the Malaysian.
Turn 8.
Down at turn 8, yeah, already at garage there. That's, I mean, we're talking a good 4 or 5 corners ahead now. That's the biggest spread we've seen on a warm-up lap, I'd say all year, actually, quite frankly, in the MotoGP World Championship. There is Balega. This guy is really exciting to watch. He's a great personality, sponsored by Pata as well. As you can see, they back the World Superbike, the Honda World Superbike team. Big sponsor, actually, in the world of motorcycle racing now. But I'm always just a little bit on edge when I watch Balega. You never really know what's going to happen next, do you?
He reminds me so much. This is the first chance I've had to have a real close look at Balega, and he just reminds me so much of 1996 when Valentino Rossi arrived on the Aprilia 125. He's the same sort of size as Rossi. He's got that sort of same kind of mischievous look. He just looks a little bit different. He's a rider that you're immediately drawn to because he's got a great riding style, cool-looking appearance. I think if there's going to be one big chance of a young Italian talent coming out of this Junior World Championship, then the best hopes lie at the moment with number 46 filtering through there at the back of your screen just to come to the start line. That's one of the Onjeta River Cold riders. Made a mistake on the warm lap, number 28. That's Belver.
Well, at least he's not got too far to go. I don't want to sound too harsh, but he's lining up at the back of the grid, so at least he's not going to have to weave his way through the grid. Having said that, there's a lot of riders still behind him anyway. As I said before, they've all mixed themselves up on this second of the warm-up laps here today. There's Joan Mir in the background. Watch out then for that very distinctive livery making its way through the pack. Huge moment last time. Can he make it through, first of all, those first few corners without too much drama? There is the 44 then, Aaron Canet, the 15-year-old Spaniard from Valencia, lines up on pole position for the second time today. Let's just cross our fingers, toes and everything else that they're going to get round the first few corners without trouble this time. Round 2 of the 2015 Moto3 Junior World Championship. Canet on the front. Mike Webb will start the race as it's a MotoGP weekend. Balega second, and the number 10 of Sanchez. And that was a bit of a wheelie from Sanchez as they get it away this time, but again, perfection from Aaron Canet as he pulls away from pole position down to the first corner. He's got it right again, the Estrella Galicia. He's leading the pack around turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Balega's in second place now, then this is where we need to hold our breath as they hit the braking zone for the turn 3-4 chicane at Dunlop. Will they all make it through? The 2 Leglis riders are right up there. Certainly one of them's had a great start, and more drama in the middle of the pack. Are they all going to avoid him? Wow, yes they did. I was holding my breath for a moment there. One of the riders down in the middle of the Dunlop chicane. Thankfully, Matt, they all missed him.
Most of the riders safely through. Canet leads the way from number 46, Bulega. Arenas got a good start from the third row of the grid. He's already up to third place. It was Polanco, the number 47, that crashed out in that Dunlop chicane. Some of the riders at the back of the field did very well to avoid Polanco as he slid down the track. With the poleman Canet, number 44, from Balega, coming under attack immediately from number 11, Albert Arenas. It's Arenas now up into second place.
So we're finally racing at Le Mans in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Can confirm it was Tony Arbolino who was taken away in the ambulance, did not make the restart. Apologies for the delay, but we'd rather wait for official confirmation than guess on that one. So it's Canet leading the way, and Balega, he's made a good start, Matt. At least he's still running. No dramas as we saw first time round. He's in third at the moment, coming under a little bit of pressure though there from Lorenzo Dalla Porta on the second of the Leglise bikes, but the first of them there, Albert Arenas, putting some real pressure now on Canet at the front of the race.
Yeah, he got a great launch off the line, did Arenas in that third row of the grid. 7th place he started. Canet now coming under pressure again. This is into turn 13 and turn 14. We've lost one of the Estrella Galicia Honda riders. 12 laps to go as they cross the line for the first time. It's Canet leading the way from Arenas, Balega, Dalla Porta, Sanchez, Powie up to 6th. Great start by the Malaysian. He started 10th on the grid. He's already up 4 places into the top 6.
Now, was that Senna Yamada or Jama Messia who crashed out? We'll let you know, because there are 3 Estrella Galicia bikes in the field. One of them, of course, Canet there leading the race. Great battle going on. It was Messia then. There he is, Jama Messia, youngest rider in the field, the 14-year-old from Almesí, just outside Valencia. It's all gone wrong for Jama, but at least he's all right. Now, let's see. Look in the back of your picture. Wow, that was a big high side. He was just behind his teammate, Senna Yamada. Again, though, all on his own, I'm afraid. Yeah,
that was coming through turn 12 as he got on the gas. It looked like he might have just been a little bit wide there through that left-hander, sorry. Disappointment for Messia, because as we said earlier on in the programme, he was fastest in the warm-up session this morning, so he would have taken great encouragement from that. But it's his Estrella Galicia teammate Aaron Canet who still leads the way. Started from pole position, second last time out in Portimao. Let's have a quick check on the progress of the series leader Joan Mir. Well, he climbed up almost 15 places on the first lap, already up into 14th place. Mir on the move.
Wow, that is remarkable. Watch out for Mir. Here's the battle of her back at the front of the race. Arenas is now in the lead. There is Canet down to 2nd position. Great fight going on there for 4th and 5th positions. The 98 was Powie, the Malaysian. He was quick at Portimao. He topped the warm-up session there 3 weeks ago, and now he's really piling the pressure on Dalla Porta by the looks of things. Now then, let's see what happens. This is a replay of the Dunlop chicane on the second start, and there down went Polanco in the middle of the pack. I think there was a touch, and once again, it was Joan Mir, first on the scene, who had to avoid another stricken rider in the middle of the pack. Hats off to Joan Mir again.
Arenas down the start, finish straight. Canet takes the inside line and retakes the lead at the start of the 3rd lap. Balega still looking menacing in 3rd place on the number 46 KTM. Powie runs it a little bit wide into turn 3. Canet now powering down towards La Chapelle, the long right-hander, leading the way.
So what are they doing with the lap times? It's a 45.1 for Arenas. He was 0.3 quicker than Canet that time round. But as you can see, Canet's now back in the front of the race again. Typical Moto3, just as we want to see. There's Ben Sneijder there on the orange bike. And look at this, Joan Mir cutting his way through the pack. He's past Valcellini now. That's Arbellino's teammate on the other one of those 658 bikes. Great stuff from Mir.
Fantastic stuff from Mir, as you say, Greg. Number 36, already up to 11th. He's probably picked up another place to climb into the top 10. Last lap, he was the fastest rider on the track with a 1:44.354. Let's not forget, Mir started this race from the back of the 9th row of the grid, down in 27th. The race winner in Portimao, the championship leader, is now put inside the top 10. He is indeed just moved into the top 10 past Valcellini.
And there he is, the 36 on the Leopard racing bike. Look at this, he's now at the inside of Senna Yamada, side by side as they come into the blue S's, and he's through, he's taken another one. This is unbelievable. Joan Mir is coming from 27th on the grid. He's almost with the leading group now.
We talked about damage limitation. He's done a great job of it so far on lap 3. About to complete lap 3. They come through the final corner now. The race leader, Canet, across the line from Arenas, Dalla Porta, Balega, Powie having a really strong ride from 10th on the grid. Sanchez, Ben Sneijder and Joan Mir now up to 8th place at the start of lap 4.
Side by side here, this is Simon Danilo, Jules' brother, on the left-hand side, trying to dive up the inside of Valcellini. Did he make it stick? Yes, he did. The 41 is ahead, just in the background. Valcellini was back at the inside of turn 4. What a scrap this is. This is the Moto3 Junior World Championship, as good as ever. It's Canet leading the way. Now then, can they work together, these two Leglise riders, I wonder? Arenas and Dalla Porta, they're 2nd and 3rd now. I get the feeling nobody's working together at the moment, and there's proof of it, because Arenas has lost the place. Dalla Porta comes through to take that 2nd place. So maybe if you can't get past Albert, I'll have a go.
Well, Mir's coming through this field like a knife through butter. There he is, the number 36 now. Next in his sights is the number 10, Sanchez, who started from the front row of the grid. Mir just at the back of the picture there. Looks like he might have made a move to claim another place and take 27th place. Did he? He did indeed. There he is, just signaling there to number 10, Sanchez. Don't try and mess me up. Try and follow me. Let's go together, and we can catch this fight for the podium. Mir again on the last lap, the fastest rider on the track by some margin. A 1:44.314, half a second quicker than Canet, who's lost the lead now to number 48, Dalla Porta.
Great stuff from Dalla Porta. That was confidence into brakes, wasn't it? To say the very least, into the blue S's. But look at Mir in the background. He's caught Ben Snyder as well now, and he's challenging for what, by my reckoning, is 7th position in the race. Look at that sky blue bike. Here he is. He's up the inside of Ben Snyder. Another one gone. Mir now goes 7th. He's up 20 places in 3 laps. We'll make it 4 laps. We're just ending lap 4 and starting lap 5. 9 to go. That's remarkable.
Yeah, just have a quick check at the lap times. Dalla Porta in the lead with his last lap was a 1:44.97 as Canet makes a brave move up the inside at turn 2. Dalla Porta resisted superbly. He holds on to the lead now, coming through the Dunlop Sheen as Joan Mir dives up the inside of Nicola Balega. He's picked up another place. He's now running in 5th. What a ride by the Leopard Racing Honda riders. Canet now fights back underneath Dalla Porta. The lead changing places yet again, but keep an eye on that man there in 5th position, Joan Mir. He's come all the way back from 27th on the grid. He's had a look now at the inside of Vahaeren. He's taken 3rd.
This is unbelievable. We're only on lap 5. He started 27th on the grid. He's now running 3rd. How on earth is he doing it? We're looking at each other in absolute bewilderment here in the commentary box. Joan Mir, well, in fairness to Joan Mir, it may have gone wrong in qualifying yesterday, but he did have a good pace in the warm-up this morning and finished that particular session in 7th place. But even then, Matt, he was only 7th. He wasn't suggesting to do anything like this, but he's absolutely experienced of running in a pack. He's now having a real go at Dalla Porta as we come down that 2/3 of a kilometre back straight under brakes. That's brave. He's up the inside of the leader. Wow, that could have been a nasty one, but he has got that 2nd place from Dalla Porta.
Well, that was close because you could see his rear wheel skipping in the air there as he got on the brakes at the end of the back straight for turn 9. He's now up into 2nd place. We're on lap 5. Canet still leading the way. Coming down now to this double apex right-handers, turn 13 and turn 14. No room there for Joan Mir to take the lead, but there he is, 27th to 2nd. He's gained 25 places in 5 laps. One of the best rides you'll ever see from Joan Mir. Incredible.
Well, whatever he goes on to achieve in his career, I think we'll be watching this race back a few times. How on earth is this going to unfold? You've got Dalla Porta on the inside line there, Vahaeren just behind him. Joan Mir, is he thinking about Canet? He's certainly thinking about it, but that was sensible stuff. Incidentally, last time round, as you pointed out, it was Balega very early on the brakes, and Mir, great piece of opportunism to pass for what was about 5th place back then. He's now running 2nd. There is Balega, and in a real battle there with Senna Yamada on the 2nd of those Estrella Galicia Hondas. So here's the situation back at the front. Look at that, Powie, the number 98, the Malaysian, is now side by side with Vahaeren. Balega's in the mix as well. Dalla Porta still sat there in 3rd position, but Joan Mir, well, he's used to really battling in the pack. He was in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup last year, won 3 races there, finished 2nd overall to Jorge Martin. And did you see the look back from Aaron Canet, the leader that time? Yes, Joan Mir is 2nd from 27th on the grid.
Yeah, Canet, you'll be able to hear that Leopard Racing Honda creeping ever closer behind him. Here is Canet down the back straight, number 44 in the lead, 36, Joan Mir right behind him. No look up the inside this time at turn 9. Dalla Porta holding 3rd place, number 48. Powie still doing exceptionally well in that lead group. We've got a breakaway now. It's Canet, Mir, Dalla Porta, Vahaeren, Powie, Balega, Ben Snyder and Yamada just desperately trying to hang on. Looks like they're trying to drop off Sanchez. Valtellini in 10th place now. He's dropped 1.2 seconds off the back of this group. We're about to complete lap number 6. Canet still leading, Mir 2nd as they come onto the start-finish straight.
Here we go, then this is going to be the lap when Joan Mir takes the lead from Aaron Canet, who's done a great job. Vahaeren, we're hearing, is out of the race. He was with this leading group and he has indeed disappeared. Albert Vahaeren is out. Now then, side by side, look at this as we get up towards the Dunlop S's. That was Dalla Porta thinking about a move on Joan Mir, but in the race coming through on the inside of there, Lorenzo, and there then is the scene. That must be Albert Vahaeren. Yes, it is out of this race. Not quite sure what happened there. He was running up in the top 5. Disappeared, didn't he, from the group at the front of the pack. And Vahaeren is out of this race. So his teammate Dalla Porta, they're certainly not going to be working together now. He's left on his own in this scrap back up at the front. Let's just regroup then for a second. 6 laps to go. This is lap 7 of 12 now here, short in distance. It's Canet, Vanhaeren and Dalla Porta. You're watching this battle at the front of the race. Down there to the 43 in the background, that's Valcellini, the sole remaining SICK 58 bike. And here's a change going on. This is Senna Yamada battling his way through, and that's with Belega, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, nice move up the inside there at Garage Vert corner from Yamada. He's up now into 4th place. Canet doing a great job so far of defending this lead. He's under attack again from Joan Mir, but Joan Mir came through the field really, really quickly. He's got all the way up to Aaron Canet, and he's not yet been able to put the move on the race leader, the pole position man, who's exchanged an early battle with Dalla Porta, the likes of Arenas, who we've seen retire. I wasn't sure whether Arenas retired or crashed. He got big scuff marks on his right arm there. We know that he was obviously involved in the incident that brought out the red flags earlier, so that could be scuff marks from that earlier incident. Of course, his Leglise mechanics would have had to have rushed to get that bike ready, so whether there's been some mechanical problem as a result of that. Start of lap number 8. Canet, Mir, Dalla Porta, Yamada on the move there, number 81 in 4th place. Belega trying to hang on to this lead group in 5th from Powie and Ben Snyder.
And here comes Mir, takes the lead.
He's crashed!
Oh, he's down, would you believe it? He's done everything right. He came from 27th on the grid, championship leader, takes the lead, and he's down. Now, can he get back into the action? Is that bike damaged? Yes, it is. The Mallorcan knows it. Oh, I can't believe it. You have to feel for the guy.
Yes,
Mir is out.
The left foot peg or the gear shifter has broken. He's just gone up the inside there of Canet at the Dunlop chicane, and the front end's washed away. Just got in there too hot, probably still trail braking into the corner. Here we go, up the inside, the front end washes away, and that is the end of one of the best recovery rides I've ever seen by Joan Mir. Such cruel luck, frustration, dejection pouring out of the rider that won 3 races in the Red Bull Rookies Cup last season. And what that's done at the front, it's left Canet in the lead from his Estrella Galicia Honda teammate, number 81, Senna Yamada, who's come from... where did Yamada start? He started way back, didn't he?
He was quite
11th. He's had a really good run through the pack. He's been in that lead group now for a while. Canet, well, there is bitter disappointment for Joan Mir. As we can see, he desperately was looking at that left footrest and the gear shifter. Clearly damaged, unable to rejoin the race. So a heartache for poor old Mir, because it was one of the great rides I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that one. What a shame. He did everything right until the moment he took the lead of the race. So, championship leader is out. Meantime, look at Idam Karel Powie as we come through to start lap 8 of 12. 4 to go here. Powie then has passed Danilo, and he's up into 3rd position. There he is with the red and white fairing, the number 98, and now he's challenging Yamada for 2nd.
Fastest man on track on that lap was Powie. Personal best lap of the race for him so far, a 1:44.550. He's looking very threatening now behind the Estrella Galicia Honda duo of Canet and Yamada. Plunge down the hill through turn 5. This is turn 6, the famous La Chapelle corner. Well, it's Joan Mir getting a ride back to the pits. He would have probably felt he had another great chance of another 25 points this afternoon. That fantastic fight back from 27th all the way up to 2nd. He'd just taken the lead from Aaron Canet when he went down in that change of direction between 3 and 4.
Yeah, and although Joan Mir is kicking himself quite naturally at the moment, he can rest assured that all of the team bosses here and MotoGP World Champions would have seen an unbelievable ride through the field here from the championship leader. From 27th on the grid, he'd just taken the lead when he departed from this 2-part race. It was a shortened race down to 12 laps, just 3 to go when they next come through. So it's Canet leading, Yamada 2nd, but Powie now challenging, and he's ahead of Yamada. So there he is, the Malaysian moves up into 2nd place, and this is where they really do need to start thinking now about tactics towards the end of the race. We know nobody's going to disappear off into the distance as Mir did with Belega in Portugal 3 weeks ago. It's going to be one of those classic finishes, just as we saw actually here in the Moto3 World Championship race last year, and of course Efren Vazquez came out on top of that one.
Canet coming under real pressure now from the young Malaysian. Khairul Idam Powie, the number 98. They come across the line now to complete lap number 9. Canet still leads the way. Powie now sets the best lap of the race, a 1:44.309. The pace stepping up. Canet dropped into the low 1:44s, as did Yamada. Dalla Porta in the 1:45s. Belega just dropping back off this podium fight at the moment. He's just been passed by Ben Snyder.
Yeah, great stuff from the Dutchman up into fourth. I'm going to quickly correct myself. I've just given Vasquez a win he didn't have, of course. It was Miller who won the Moto3 World Championship race last year. But look at Belega. This is what I was saying earlier. He was really leery. He's out of shape into a lot of the corners. He's dropped down now to the back of the group. So that's going to be 6th place, if I'm not wrong there. Yes, it is for Belega. And Ben Snide is now getting the hammer down. He won both of the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup races at Jerez a couple of weeks back. He's leading that one. Now here is up into fourth. Great stuff as well for the French crowd, by the way, to see Danilo in the middle of the action. So, down to the right-hander at Garage Vert. There is Ben Snyder, and here is the drama further back. Well, that's Belega, isn't it? He's dropped to the back of the pack now.
It was that Canet down the back straight, coming to that hard-braking zone for turn 9. Yamada trying to get a slipstream behind number 98, Powie. The anxious Estrella Galicia Junior Team mechanics watch on as their man Aaron Canet still leads the way. Coming up, 2 and a bit laps to go. This is down at the first of the Blur S's. It's still Canet, Powie, Yamada, Dalla Porta there in 4th place still. Oh no, sorry, it's Ben Snyder who really started to look threatening now. The number 80, the Dutch rider, starting from the back of the 2nd row of the grid. As Greg said, comes here brimming with confidence. Double race winner of the Red Bull Rookies Cup last time out in Jerez. 2 laps to go.
Here we go then. Canet, Powie, Yamada is the top 3. Dalla Porta is 4th. Ben Snyder, sorry, now 4th from Dalla Porta. Then it's Belega who's dropped down to 6th from Santos Valtellini. Danilo is 9th, then Petrarca. Look at this though. Powie on the inside line. They're almost touching around the right-hander of turn 2. It's still Canet with the advantage, but Yamada's coming under a massive attack now. Powie takes advantage of that one. Ben Snyder just watching in the wings, keeping a watching brief. What they can't allow themselves to do though here is allow Canet to pull away at the front. He's pulled out 4 or 5 bike lengths there. Fastest man on the track now, fastest lap of the race so far, into the 43s for Bo Ben Snyder on that orange bike in 4th place.
Yeah, the first rider in this shortened 12-lap race into the 143s is Bo Ben Snyder. As we said, looking a real threat now in 4th place. There he is on that orange and black Honda machine. And while those 3 are scrapping behind Canet, Powie, Yamada and Ben Snyder, Canet just opening up a fraction of a gap. In fact, the gap now between Canet and Yamada up to over 0.4 of a second. So Canet really is making a push to take this victory from pole position. It's still Yamada now back into 2nd place.
And here comes Powie up the inside. Yes, he's through. Forces Yamada out. That was quite aggressive. Hard but fair, I'd say, there from Powie. He wants to take the challenge, and now Ben Snyder is going to try and take advantage of that situation. That slight loss of momentum there for Yamada as they came into the blue S's. As you can see, bottom of the screen, fastest on the track last time round, fastest of the race, and Ben Snyder, here he is, through, up into 3rd. So Yamada's going backwards. Ben Snyder and Powie have got to get the hammer down now. We're coming through to start the last lap of this race. Just 4.1 kilometres to go at Le Mans. Aaron Canet had never led a Moto3 Junior World Championship race before today. Now he's only 1 lap away from a potential first victory.
And what a time to put in his personal best lap of the race, a 1:44.389 from Canet. Stretched his advantage over Powie to almost half a second. Canet really pushing hard to take that first win. Powie still in 2nd place. Number 80, Ben Snyder in 3rd. Yamada 4th. Dalla Porta remains in 5th. Belega, he looks out of the challenge, certainly for the victory. And David Sanchez is 7th place. These 7 riders have broken away from the chasing bag. It's all about Canet, Powie, Ben Snyder. Now he has to attack, you feel, at the end of this. Well, into turn 7, he does, right on cue. Ben Snyder up the inside of Powie to take 2nd place.
Is he through? They're almost touching. Yes, he is. Great stuff. Managed to get the power on really early there, and the Dutchman is up into 2nd, but it's not over yet because Powie's going to attack Yamada right there as well on the blue bike in 4th position. It's all allowing Canet to get away at the front though. As Matt said, personal best lap of the race last time round, and there's the gap at the front as they come down 2/3 of a kilometre the back straight. Ben Snyder needs a really good run now down through Shimon Burr from the blue S's, but is he too far away? This is Powie attacking Ben Snyder for 2nd place and going through a massive wobble. He's going to lose momentum there.
Oh, this is playing right into the hands of Aaron Canet. Those 3 or 4 riders behind him messing each other up through this final sector. Canet's advantage now through the 3rd split, almost 0.8 of a second. It's the number 44s to lose now as Ben Snyder has another look up the inside of Powie, but it's Canet now coming into the final 2 corners. His first victory beckons.
That was Yamada really attacking Ben Sneyd a bit. There is the leader out of the final corner. Oh, there's a massive moment for Yamada. Pushes one of the other riders out wide, but it is Aaron Canet, the 15-year-old from Valencia, wins his first ever Moto3 Junior World Championship race. What drama in the background through the final few corners, and Aaron Canet has taken the victory for the first time. He'll now be heading into Parc Ferme for the famed television interview. We'll see how he gets on with the English as well as the Spanish. Matt's going to get his skates on and get over there to Parc Ferme. We'll see what happens with the interviews. Hopefully we'll be able to bring it to you in the broadcast, but obviously we are a little bit behind now because of the red flag situation earlier on. But Aaron Canet wins for the very first time, leads the Moto3 Junior World Championship after finishing right up there in second position in Portugal 3 weeks ago, winning then now here at Le Mans, and for the second year in a row it's the Estrella Galicia Junior team that wins at Le Mans. So it's a 100% win rate for that particular outfit. Quartararo did the honours 12 months ago, and now it is this man, Aaron Canet. And once again, the Canet fan club have managed to find their way onto the track. They're beginning to make a habit of this. We saw the same situation in Portugal. What an enormous banner. That must have taken ages to put that thing together. Anyway, it's a bit like that Valentino Rossi banner we saw back at Assen, wasn't it, in 2009? But it is Aaron Canet winning for the first time. He's from Valencia. He was 23rd in the series last year, but only took part in 3 races. So 3 good races on the Honda last year. And now he leads the series, just 15 years of age. Where did he start this afternoon? The answer is pole position. Fantastic. It was Ben Sneyd who took the fastest lap. So not quite the gentleman's set, the perfect score for Canet, but even so, it's victory from pole position at Le Mans. Now, what happened behind? Powie dropped to 6/10 behind Canet in the end. Ben Sneyd is on the podium, as Powie is for the first time this season. Yamada was the rider who was out wide. Now, look at this. This is Powie on the right from Malaysia. Ben Sneyd for the Netherlands on the left. That was into the Musée corner, the museum corner on the last lap. Dive through on the inside. This is further around at the end of the back straight. This really helped Canet win the race. Powie's through, but he's slowed on the apex of the next corner. This is coming out of the last corner. Canet for his first victory. Look in the background, Yamada. That was a huge slide for Senna Yamada and almost wiped Dalla Porta out of the action completely. Yamada just finishing ahead of Dalla Porta there for 4th place by 85 thousandths of a second. And Bulega in 6th position. Apologies, by the way, because during the race you may have noticed, the eagle-eyed amongst you, that we were seeing Danilo's name, Simon Danilo, up there in the leading group. Perhaps a bit of an error there. I can confirm he finished the race in 9th from Lorenzo Petrarca. But there is your winner. It is Aaron Canet from Valencia. Wow, only 15 years old, this guy. Is this a new Marc Marquez in the making? Well, it certainly might be. Perhaps it's more fair to say Alex Marquez, as he's riding for the Estrella Galicia team, which we saw Alex take the Moto3 World Championship crown with last year. As usual, the winner is the last rider back into Parc Ferme. We've got Ben Sneyd in there. Great stuff as well from Ben Sneyd, the Dutchman. He's having a really great few weeks, isn't he? Double at Jerez 2 weeks back in the Rookies Cup. So he's leading that one by 18 points. And now on the podium here as well. He's been mentored by Barry Veneman, ex-rider himself. Actually won a World Supersport race, did Barry Veneman, a few years ago. And they've been testing as well over at Assen since the last race. So great to see all of that hard work for the Dutch Academy, the KNMV, paying off. They're also running in the Moriwaki Cup this year and the NSF 100 Cup as well. And they're even actually organising a UEM mini bike race at the end of the year. So busy times for the likes of Barry Veneman and the Dutch Academy. Busy times as well then for Estrella Galicia. What an opportunity for this man. Aaron Canet wins for the first time in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Two different winners in 2015. With Joan Mir, let's not forget Joan Mir, because he struggled in qualifying yesterday, had an early fall in the first session, couldn't really fight back in the afternoon. Started 27th on the grid. Then we got the race underway. Tony Arbolino triggered a big incident into the Dunlop chicane. Mir himself had a huge moment but escaped. Then the race was red flagged. It was restarted about half an hour later and Mir fought his way through. It was a sensational ride from 27th on the grid. Just as he took the lead, he lost the front end, completely washed away from him up at the Dunlop S's, and Joan Mir, understandably very, very frustrated, out of action. And of course loses the championship lead now to Canet. We'll get full confirmation of that in a moment. There's Powie up there in second place, I can confirm, 0.6 of a second behind the winner. Very well done indeed then to the number 98. That's the Malaysian, the 16-year-old Malaysian. It's Idam Karel Pawi, to give him his full name. Very, very well-deserved podium indeed for everybody there at Honda Team Asia. That's a TSR Honda, by the way, so it's not quite the same sort of bike as the Honda of Canet, which won the race. It's the TSR Honda, and Ben Snyder, incidentally, on a Honda as well. So Honda having a pretty good day, it's fair to say, here at Le Mans, and they've gone well here in the MotoGP race as well the last few years, with the likes of Stoner, Pedrosa, Marquez having all taken victories here, just dating back to 2011 in the MotoGP race. Jorge Lorenzo, the only one to spoil the party there for Honda when he won on the Yamaha back in 2012. There's the scene then here at Parc Fermé. It's a little bit later than we expected. It's just past 5:30 local time here now in France. The race was stopped for 25 minutes or so after an incident. Best wishes, by the way, for Tony Arbolino. We have not received any information on his condition during the race, so look out for that online and on the social media later. But what we do know, what we can tell you, is that the 14-year-old from Milan, riding for the Marco Simoncelli tribute team, as it were, it's all headed up by Paolo Simoncello, the late Marco's father. Tony Arbolino triggered an incident at the first chicane on the opening lap, the first start of this two-part race as it was in the end. Let's just review then the best moments from this second Moto3 Junior World Championship race of the 2015 season. This man, Joan Mir from Mallorca, did an absolutely stunning job. Runner-up in the Red Bull Rookies Cup last year. Coming here from 27th on the grid. This is a replay of the second start of the race we're watching. Cleanly through the first corner, but did have to avoid Polanco, who went down in the middle of the chicane. And look at this, he was just fighting his way through the field, picking off riders, not lap by lap, but almost corner by corner at one point, passing Albert Arenas there. Then he dispatched of Dalla Porta as well. How on earth did he make it stop? That was remarkable. Then this happened, up to Dunlop, passes Canet for the lead, and Joan Mir slides his way out of the race, whacked in the helmet visor as well by the bubble there on the front of the bike. What a shame for the Mallorcan, but that was a superb ride, one of the best we've seen for a long, long time in any motorcycle race. But Mir in the end, no reward at all, no points. But it's Canet, Aaron Canet from Valencia, who wins for the first time. Pawi on the podium and Ben Snyder as well, so 3 new podium faces there for 2015. Senna Yamada, thanks for all the drama. Simon Danilo, I can confirm, did not finish where he's being listed there. He was further down the order, so a bit of a problem with the graphics. Danilo actually was down there in 9th place. It was Dalla Porta who finished 4th. And great stuff there to see Kaito Toba for the second race in a row scoring a point for the Asia Talent team. Alberto Puig is following them to all of the races this year, won the Shed Advance Asia Talent Cup in 2014. And he really is getting to grips with the situation now, is Kaito Toba. He's actually being mentored by no less than Nobby Ueda, who, of course, as you may remember, finished second only to Valentino Rossi in the 125cc World Championship back in '97. And Ueda still, can you believe, actually, scored more points than anybody else in the history of the 125cc Championship. Obviously, that ran up to the end of 2011 before Moto3 came in. A few of the retirements there. We saw Polanco out in the middle of the Dunlop chicane on the second start. Thankfully, he's okay. Jan Masia high-sided coming out of the blue S's. And Tony Arbolino, thoughts are with him. A nasty-looking incident up to the Dunlop chicane on the opening lap of the first start. He flew through the air. I'm glad to see Matt Burt has made his way down to Parc Fermé. He's grabbed Aaron Canet. Not completely sure whether Aaron speaks English, but we're about to find out. Down to Aaron Canet then. Winning for the first time is with Matt.
Aaron Canet, the perfect weekend here in Le Mans for you. Pole position and a fantastic first win in the Junior World Championship. How do you feel?
Muchas gracias. Tenemos la pole ayer y hoy hemos podido ganar la carrera. Hemos dominado desde el principio a fin y estoy muy contento. Me gustaría agradecer a toda la gente que me apoya y sobre todo a mi equipo, a mis mecánicos, a mi técnico, a mi telemétrico, a mi team manager, a Emilio Zamora, a Estrella Galicia, a todos.
And quickly, how does it feel in a few words in English?
My English not is perfect, and I can speak in Spanish because my English not is good.
Many congratulations, Aaron. Fantastic job.
Thank you.
Good stuff, Matt, to try and get a few English words in there as well. Great stuff as well from Aaron Canet. That's not easily done when you're on live television to everybody around the world. Just to translate quickly what he said there in Spanish, he was just saying we knew we had the pace yesterday, we were able to take the pole position, we had good pace in the race as well, and we finally come through to take our first victory. I say finally, it's only the second round of the season. He was thanking also the team for all of their support, and what was nice as well is that he was thanking the team, the fans as well. So great stuff from Canet, who wins for the first time. Joins a list of several riders who have won Moto3 races in the CEV, including, of course, the likes of Alex Marquez and Fabio Quartararo. Here's a replay then, highlights of this second race in the Moto3 Junior World Championship for 2015. Tony Arbolino flying through the air. Complete chaos down at the Dunlop S's on the first start of this race. Watch the number 4 on the inside. That was a big one. At the same time, Belega made an error of his own. We saw Arenas, Dalla Porta were off. Joan Mir, in the meantime, was coming from 27th on the grid as the championship leader. Arbolino had started 8th. After that, you see a gap there in the middle of your picture. Did not restart the race. It was shortened to 12 laps from the original distance of 17. Canet got it right again. Fantastic off the line for the Valencia rider today. Belega was running second at this point as we got up to turn 1, but we were about to see another incident. Palanco in the middle of the pack, and watch Joan Mir on the green bike in the middle there. Look, he just darted around Palanco. That was the championship leader for the second time in the space of half an hour, avoiding all sorts of drama at Dunlop. That was Arenas then now, up the inside of Belega, who was seemingly going backwards through the race, but he'll be pleased to have scored his first points of the season. Canet was just pulling away at the front. We were wondering at this stage whether he could break away. His teammate, though, there, Jaume Masia, youngest rider in the field, at just 14 years of age, was out on the exit of the Blue S's. Side by side here into the Blue S's now. This is Joan Mir cutting his way through the pack. We could not believe our eyes. He was coming from 27th position on the grid. Then he takes the lead here at Dunlop and gets it completely wrong. What a shame for the Mallorcan. Understandably, bitterly frustrated. Joan Mir out of the race and loses the championship lead as a result. Into the closing stages then. Canet, a really nice gap there, and it was helped by this manoeuvre into Shimano Burr for the last time. Powie had a big moment, caught Ben Snyder unawares. That was Senna Yamada having a huge scare at the last corner, almost taking Lorenzo Dalla Porta with him, and they finished 4th and 5th. But it was Aaron Canet winning for the first time in his Moto3 Junior World Championship career. For the Estrella Galicia Junior team, there is your winner, the 15-year-old from Valencia, who now leads the standings in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Wow, let's just get our breath again. We keep being left out of breath, don't we, at the end of CEV races so far in 2015. Great to see a real mixture of flags up there. We're in France, we're on French soil. We've got a Dutch flag, a Malaysian flag, and of course a Spanish flag in the middle of the podium. But do not be fooled, it's not another case of Spaniards dominating everything, as we've heard a lot of people talking about over recent years. Yes, this particular man may be Spanish, but we have some real talents in the field this year. And it is Canet who wins for the first time. He'll get a free supply of fuel as well here from Repsol, obviously the title sponsor for the CEV. It's to bring you up to speed with what's happening, by the way, in the rest of the season. All of the other classes for the CV will be back in action soon. That's Moto2 and Superbike as well. It all continues at Barcelona on the 21st of June. Then there's races at Aragon, Albacete, Navarra, Jerez and Valencia will bring the curtain down on the 15th of November. A lot of racing, though, until we get there. Valencia at the end of the season. In fact, you know, still 250 Junior World Championship points left up for grabs. Out go the trophies then to the top 3 here. We can't always see Champagne or Cava sprayed, of course, because they're underage, so that might have to come a little bit later here at Le Mans, and then they can all enjoy the World Championship action tomorrow afternoon. There is Powie, the Malaysian, is on the podium. Great stuff for Malaysia, for the whole of the Asian region. They're having a bit of a purple patch at the moment. If you look at some of the winners from the Asia Talent Cup as well, which is not just Asian riders now, that also includes riders from the Australasia region. And there is your winner then, Jorge Navarro, that was, presenting the trophy to Aaron Canet, who wins in the Moto3 Junior World Championship for the very first time. 15 years old from Valencia. He's done the double today in terms of pole position and a race victory. Ben Snyder, who was there on the right, who gets the fastest lap. And there is the free fuel I was talking about before. Now then we just pause for the Spanish national anthem. First time winner, Aaron Canet. Well done to Aaron Canet, winner in the Moto3 Junior World Championship for the first time. Great podium. Canet up there from Parry, from Malaysia, and then Bo Ben-Sneijder, who's having a really great month. And there we are, then the lemonade is out. No sign of any Cabot just yet. That might be coming in the next few years. They'll have to wait for a while, though, because Canet is only 15 at the moment. Into his 16th year. Not many people have achieved this much, have they? I think it's fair to say, when they move into their 16th year. I'm generalising a bit there, but great stuff from Aaron Canet to be on the top of the podium. It's nice to see his teammates down there as well. Contrasting fortunes for them. Senna Yamada finished in the top 5 just. It could have been an absolute nightmare with that big moment at the last corner through Recordamon at the end of the lap. Jamal Messier departed earlier in the race, but was running quite high up in the middle of the field when he did that. There you go then. Canet, Parry and Ben-Sneijder is 1, 2, 3 here at Le Mans. We've seen a really dramatic second round split into 2 races there after the red flag, and there's the situation. Aaron Canet leads the Moto3 Junior World Championship for the first time. Ben-Sneijder is up into second. The big drop there, of course, is Joan Mir, who did not score points today. And that's, we always stress, don't we, consistency. How many points can be lost at the start of a season? 25 in Portugal, 0 here. And Joan Mir, despite an amazing ride, drops down to 5th in the championship. Good stuff to see Simon Danilo up there, 7 points on the board then now after a really strong outing today. And the Asia Talent team continuing to improve. Kaito Toba up into 16th in the championship, and just to see how competitive it's already been. Top 15 score points, 19 riders have already scored this season. Don't forget to follow all of the latest on the social media as well. CEV Motorcycle is the official Twitter feed for the FIM CEV Repsol. FIMCEVRepsol.com as well for all of the latest in terms of results and the championship standings and all the latest news as well. Well, what drama it's been for round 2 of the Moto3 Junior World Championship in 2015. It all continues at Barcelona, the next round of the series, on the 21st of June. But for Matt Burt and Greg Haynes here at Le Mans, it's bye for now.